Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome back to Saturday's edition of the dceu Daily. If you can't see this properly, and basically I think you can, Zack Snyder is ready to go. He's ready to start editing his Justice League. He's ready to start editing Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think we've got a couple of months till release. Now, Zack Snyder did answer a couple of questions on Vero yesterday, and he said he's very excited for everyone to see it. And he said there will be a release date for Zack Snyder's Justice League announced very, very quickly. So let's look at the deets of this image. It says, "Let it begin." On the screen they're sitting next to, it says, "Picture start." Now you can see they're sitting by a booth. Now this to me is an editing booth because I've got one similar to this. So I believe they're going to start, and this is basically them sitting there, getting ready to watch, editing the film together. So it's a very big mammoth task. And then after that, they'll record the music over it as well. Most of the music that, what's his name? I can't bloody remember the bloody composer's name. How can I forget his bloody name anyway? Basically, all the music that was done ages ago. He's added a little bit to it, so that will be recorded onto it as well. So I believe this picture means they're ready to start editing Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that, my friends, is very, very exciting. Jason Kilar has already said that Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released in a few months on HBO Max. That's incredibly awesome. Incredibly epic, and I can't wait to finally see this movie. Yes, Junkie XL, of course, composed Batman vs. Superman, and Hans Zimmer, of course, composed Man of Steel. So it's Junkie XL's music we're going to finally hear on Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I can't wait for that. Now, this is a bolt out of the blue, but the atmosphere around Hollywood right now, it really shouldn't surprise us. Female-led Plastic Man movie in development. DC has hired screenwriter Kat Vasco to write a female-led Plastic Man movie, revamping the project and taking it in an entirely new direction. This is by Jennifer Lennon of Screen Rant. Now, don't forget, about a year or so ago, we heard it announced that they were developing a Plastic Man movie. Well, now it's going to be a female-led Plastic Man. I suppose if you want to do a female-led project, listen, I think the Plastic Man character is awesome, and I hope we see him feature in this film, but who knows now. Anyway, a female-led Plastic Man movie is in development. DC showed interest in a new Plastic Man project in 2018 and hired Amanda Idoko to write the script. Apparently, the iteration would have hewed closer to the comics. It was meant to be a comedic action adventure based on the classic comic book character. Patrick L. O'Brien, a.k.a. Plastic Man, was created by Jack Cole for Quality Comics in 1941. O'Brien was a safe-cracking thief until one of his burglaries went wrong and he was shot and covered in mysterious liquid. As he recovered, he realized he could stretch and mold his body like rubber. The accident caused O'Brien to turn his life around and use his new powers for good. DC Comics acquired Plastic Man in 1956, and he quickly became a fan favourite, interacting with Batman and briefly joining the Justice League. Yeah, you can see why he was only briefly in the Justice League. Probably not O'Brien's faulty, is it? But anyway, according to The Hollywood Reporter, DC has hired screenwriter Kat Vasco to write a new female-led Plastic Man movie. This is an entirely new direction for the film, and it's unclear what this means for the movie and the character overall. There's no word yet on a director or actors attached to star. Warner Brothers first started looking to adapt Plastic Man into a movie in the 1990s. By 1995, the Wazowski sisters had written a full script, but the project didn't gain any traction until the mid-2000s. At one point, Keanu Reeves was attached to star. Wow, that would have been interesting. Until the Wazowski's Plastic Man was shelved again. This will be the first live-action Plastic Man adaptation, which is a risky move. Fans might have a hard time getting on board with a female version of Plastic Man. Can I just stop there for a moment? I don't care about genders. It doesn't. I'm not going to not watch it because it's about a woman. It's just going to be awesome. And the female version has to have the flaws and the awesome energy of the male character. And that's it, right? So let's see what they do. If that's the direction DC takes, of course, the film could end up centering on an unrelated female character with Plastic Man in a supporting role, which would be, it would be a good balance, wouldn't it, for everyone? But it would be very odd to sideline the major draw for the film. Well, I think it can be a partnership thing, can't it? Anyway, we'll see what they do. If it does end up going with a gender-bent Plastic Man, there will inevitably be detractors who claim the film is not a true adaptation of the comics. Marvel is taking the same risk with Eternals, gender swapping 3 of the main characters. Still, the Plastic Man comics are known for being fun and humorous, and there's definitely room for DC to play around with the character. Until we know more about the project, speculation and theories about the female-led Plastic Man movie will likely continue to spread. So what do I think about this? Yeah, look, this is where we are now. I said this is the political environment and atmosphere we're in now. And this is going to happen a lot. And if you don't like it, pick up your Plastic Man comics. He's in Batman the Brave and the Bold as well, so you can watch him in there. He's brilliant in that, by the way. But listen, if this is what they're going to do, personally, I would like the male version to be involved with the female-led project, but we'll see. We'll see. Do I think it's right to gender bend things? Well, let's put it this way. If they gender bended Wonder Woman and said Wonder Man, they'd all get upset, wouldn't they? Right? And I know men are featured in comic books and movies and stuff more than women. And this is, trying to readdress the balance. Personally, what I would prefer DC to do is create a new original superhero, female superhero-led movies, like what they're doing with Wonder Girl. Is it Flores? She's an original character. I like that. Now, what they're doing here is saying, if let's say they cancel the male role and just make it a female, there's a lot wrong with that. Will I be angry about this? No. I'm very calm about the atmosphere and environment Hollywood are in. People will be angry. People will be mad. When I see these things now, and I used to be a little bit mad in the past, but now I just laugh. I just think it's hilarious. So what I want is a great movie. If it's a great, fun, entertaining movie, male, man, woman, or beast, I will watch it, and I will tell everyone I loved it. Well, after 2.5 years, Ava DuVernay has been confirmed for a DC project, but it's not New Gods. I think it's time to accept, everyone, New Gods is dead, because listen to this. Nomi, adaptation from Ava DuVernay in the works at the CW. Well, Ava, how the mighty have fallen. Project is based on DC Comics from co-writer Brian Michael Bendis about a multiverse-traveling teen superhero. Ava DuVernay is tackling yet another DC Comics project. She's not tackling New Gods. Basically, I don't even think she was tapped by the studio. I think she decided to try and persuade them to do it, and they're not having any of it. Anyway, for the CW, developing a series based on Nomi McDuffie, a multiverse-traversing teenage superhero. I mean, listen, I don't know this character, but the concept, the narrative sounds interesting. The series is adapted from the comic Nomi, or is it Naomi, which launched last year from Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker and was illustrated by Jamal Campbell. DuVernay would executive produce and write the series with Jill Blankenship, Warner Brothers TV. With Jill Blankenship. Warner Brothers TV, where DuVernay is under an overall deal, would be the studio. Here is the logline for the project. Naomi follows a teen girl's journey from her small northwestern town to the heights of the multiverse when a supernatural event shakes her hometown to the core. Naomi sets out to uncover its origins, and what she discovers will challenge everything we believe about our heroes. Oh dear. I mean, I haven't read this, but does this mean all the male heroes are bastards and this one female has to put them all right? Maybe. Who knows? Or it might actually be a good story. But with DuVernay involved, you don't know. I must say this about DuVernay. What has she actually achieved to get all these projects? I mean, if we're talking about the diversity in directors and writers, I mean, there must be other ethnic minority writer-directors who are more talented than she is. Because, let's put it this way, she hasn't set the bar very high, has she? Naomi marks the third DC Comics project for DuVernay, who is also helming DMZ for HBO Max, which was recently ordered to series. The Selma director is also co-writing a big screen adaptation of New Gods with Tom King. Never gonna happen. Anyway, Naomi would be Ava DuVernay's first project with the CW and would join an ever-increasing roster of DC Comics based on series on the network. Now, this is very interesting indeed because it is the CW, so she is, as I say, how the mighty have fallen. And that's it. That's the news on that. Again, never heard of Naomi. As I say, the concept and the narrative sounds very, very interesting. But again, it's wait and see. But these two projects that they've announced, don't excite anyone. These are things that could happen. They could be successful or not successful. Only time will tell. But unless these people develop characters, yes, characters, you know, you can't just do what Chibnall's done with Doctor and say, hey, we've got a female Doctor here, embrace it, or you're a sexist. Isn't it interesting, the old saying from Star Wars, only Siths believe in absolutes, and this is what these people believe. Embrace what we're doing, or basically you're a sexist. Listen, if it's good, if both these projects are good, both the Plastic Man and Naomi, I will embrace them and come on this channel and ooze compliments for Ava DuVernay and the other person who's developing Plastic Woman. But if it's not very good, I'm going to be honest about that. I owe that to myself and to my audience. Remember, you can tag me on Twitter @MoviesTVMad and make any suggestion for videos, articles, or ask me any question you want. And that's what Sight Beyond Sight, interesting name for a Twitter account, but it's cool, and a cool profile picture as well. Anyway, Sight Beyond Sight has asked me this. So in your YouTube videos, you say post questions, comments here. Do you want them in the DM or the feed? I'd actually, I prefer them in the feed. The reason for that is I'm not saying anything about Sight Beyond Sight or anyone else. I'm sure everyone who watches these videos are cool people. But if we get involved with DMs, then people can start saying stuff that are not true. I'm not protected. You're not protected. So I'd much rather prefer them on the feed. It just protects everyone. Anyway, my question is, you say Wonder Woman 84 is 65% self-contained, which means it's a 35% affecting the DCEU core narrative. Is that the effect Flashpoint reboot Grace Randolph has proclaimed in the past? In other words, was she correct? Thanks. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Sight Beyond Sight. A really well put question. Listen, if I answer this question, I spoil something, and then I break the rules, and I break the studio's trust, and I break other people's trust who come to me with things as well. So I'm going to try and be as vague and as cryptic as I can. Right. So as I said yesterday, 65, 70%, this is a standalone movie. But what you've also got to understand, and as you already know, there are flashbacks to Themyscira when Diana was a very young girl, and I'm really, really happy she's back. She's a great young actor. She's so passionate. And, you know, Gal and Patty love her to bits. So I'm really glad she's back as well. Great performance. So we get flashbacks. So there's a big connection to Wonder Woman 2017 and Wonder Woman 1984. Big connections. So there's that. So most of it is part of this self-contained Wonder Woman universe. So then you're asking me, is Grace Randolph right about the Flashpoint situation? She predicted that. Don't forget, she didn't say we were getting Flashpoint. She pretty much hinted that in the movie, Diana does something to change the timeline. Now, I can't tell you whether this is true or false, but ever since I heard it from Grace, I was very excited and very interested. So I'm not going to answer that question because it's a big, big spoiler. And I'm sorry, I really do want to answer your questions honestly and as brutally as possible. But that's a spoiler, and I really can't go into it. But what I would say is you are going to have some very defined opinions on this film based on what happens. This is a massive moment. Whether you love Jeff Johns or you hate him, he's very heavily involved in this film. Now, whether his partnership with Patty Jenkins continues after what Ray Fisher's been saying and after the investigation at Warner Media into the reshoots of Justice League, if he's going to continue, I don't know. She wants to keep on working with him. I know that. Nothing she's heard has put her off. And she wants to keep on working with him. I personally think he's a genius. He's good at what he does. He's a good writer. He should never have been Chief Operating Officer or whatever the title now that Jim Lee has, right? He should never have had that. That wasn't for Jeff, but he still knows everything about these characters, and I want this partnership to continue because Wonder Woman 84 was all the better for this partnership. So, yeah, I'll stand by what I said yesterday about 65% of this movie being self-contained, but unfortunately, I can't tell you if what Grace said was true or false. But as I said, what I can say is this film is big. And that's why I'm so excited that it's being released on very soon, in a couple of weeks' time. Here in Cyprus, December the 13th, the UK, December the 16th, and in the States on HBO Max and in movie theatres where they're open on December the 25th. There's nothing more exciting for that. This is a massive film that you do not want to miss. I'm more than aware that I think there's a Brazilian fan expo this weekend. I think it is in Brazil. Does it kick off today or tomorrow? I can't remember. But whenever I have any information, because we are getting James Gunn's The Suicide Squad panel there, and I think we're getting a Wonder Woman 84, so some big stories could be revealed, in that expo. So as soon as I get what's going on there, if there's a trailer, I will obviously react to it. Now, I'm not going to show trailers anymore on this channel because I just get copyright striked and sometimes my videos get taken down. So not worth it, but anything that happens, you will know first here exclusively on Big Mouth, aka the DCEU Daily. So please comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.